How to make my spooky spiderweb tart. The perfect spooktacular dessert for Halloween. Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel, where today I'm making a rather spooktacular treat, which is my spooky spiderweb tart. This is just a fun, delicious dessert with a little bit of a spooky twist for Halloween. And of course, it works as a dessert on its own if you don't want it to be Halloween themed. But this one, it looks fun, it's delicious, and it's quite versatile depending on what flavor you're after. But for me, this has got mint filling with chocolate ganache and an Oreo base. But of course, you can switch it up in a different way if you prefer. But either way, let's get baking my spooktacular spooky spiderweb tart. For the base of this recipe, I'm going for a simple Oreo biscuit base mixed with some melted butter. For the butter, you can use a baking spread or block butter. Both work really, really well, but you just want to melt that down to a liquid and then you can mix it with your biscuits later on. For the filling, we have like an icing filling. So I have some icing sugar here. I never personally bother to sieve it, but that's up to you. I then have some green food coloring to make it slime colored, as well as some mint extract and some water. The good part about this is if you don't like mint, you can make it orange flavored instead and color it orange. It's entirely up to you. And then these are the ganache ingredients. So we have some block butter, some cream, milk chocolate and dark chocolate, and these melt together to create a luxuriously smooth chocolate filling which will pour over the mint, and it is absolutely perfect. And then of course we have one last ingredient. This is just some white chocolate which I'm going to melt down, and this is going to help us create our spider web. So I'm just going to start by adding my Oreos to my food processor. When it comes to the Oreos, I don't remove the filling, I just blend the whole thing. But if you don't have a food processor, you can use the end of a rolling pin and just into a bowl and crush it to a really, really fine crumb. Now they're a really fine crumb, I'm just going to pour in my melted butter. And then I'm going to mix these together briefly to combine. Now that my base is ready, I'm going to press it into the base and sides of a loose-bottomed 9-inch tart tin. It's much easier to make sure it's a loose-bottom one to get it out later in the dessert. Then I'm just going to make sure to press the biscuit base into the sides of the tin first. And then I'm just going to press it down into the center as well. Once you've filled the tin, leave to the side for now whilst you make the filling. I'm just going to pour my icing sugar into a bowl. I'm going to add my mint extract. And then I'm going to add a little green food coloring just to make it slime colored. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water as well, and then mix this to a thick paste. And then I'm just going to pour this over the biscuit base. I then just leave this to the side whilst I make the ganache as well, which is super simple. And all I'm going to do is grab a big bowl, add my 2 chocolates, my butter and my cream to the bowl, and then I'm going to melt it in the microwave. You can actually do this in a pan as well, where you heat the cream until just before boiling point and pour it across all the other ingredients. But because I have a microwave, I'm going to do it that way because I find it much, much easier. And then finally, I grab my melted white chocolate and create circles and swirls on top. And then I grab a cake skewer and just create lines to create the spider web. Now it's decorated, I'm just going to set it in the fridge until the ganache has set, and then of course we can take it out of the tin and serve a deliciously spooktacular spooky spiderweb tart. So now this tart has set in the fridge, the ganache and chocolate is nice and solid, so I'm just going to remove it from my loose bottom tin and place onto my plate. Obviously, I tend to just try and push from the bottom, and then the tart will come out super easily. Just as a little decoration, I grabbed some decorative plastic spiders just to place on top, just to reaffirm that it's a spooky spiderweb tart. And this is how you make my spooky spiderweb tart. Obviously, it's just a mint chocolate tart at the end of the day, but I think it looks fun, it's delicious, and as I can say again and again, you can adapt the flavor if you want. So I've done a green slime with a mint flavor, but you could do orange flavoring and make it orange covered. You could do it any flavor you want and make it red for blood, anything you want, because it's meant to be a little bit spooky. And of course, I've just got my little decorative spiders on top. So either way, I hope you have fun making this spooky spiderweb tart as well. The full recipe will be in the description box with the link to the blog post as well. I'll link anything useful as always. Leave any comments if you have them. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and come back next time for something equally as spooky as this. Enjoy!